Elly soldiers, guess who got a freaking ring light for Christmas? My videos in 2018 are gonna be so illuminated. Although I have to warn you, I can't turn this up too high, because if I do, I suddenly don't have a nose. Today I thought that I would do the typical last video of the year and do my favorite books of 2017, because while 2017 was a bit of a dumpster fire in terms of like politically and economically, maybe a little bit socially, it was a fantastic year in the publishing industry. So let's talk about some of my favorite books of this year. And before I go into this video, I'm just gonna say these are in no particular order. This is just in the order that I stacked them and want to talk about them in. Let's start off with a bang. Let's talk about my favorite book of the year. Possibly my favorite book, dare I say, besides maybe anything by V.E.Schwab. Let's talk about Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is a very odd book to try to explain to somebody because there's a lot of different facets to it. Let's just say that this takes place in a fantasy world that is a couple of hundred years after the aftermath of a war between gods and mortals, and the main character is taken to a lost city and to figure out where the gods went, and the other perspective is a god spawn that is still alive despite what the rumors may say. This book was so cool. There's a lot of very whimsically magical elements, like they have a floating citadel. Dope. Lost warriors, lost city, fantasy, legendary creatures, lost from time, chosen one turned on its head with gods stuff in it, and I love all those things, so this book was just exactly what I wanted. Alright, piece of hair, I have to go recurl you. Let's be honest, I'm way too lazy to go do that. I'd rather push my hair to my face for the entire video than have to go recurl my hair. The next book on my list is a fairly recent book, and that is Renegades by Marissa Mayer. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that ring light. Oh, the one ring to rule them all. This is a fantastic, action-packed, superheroes, Avengers meets X-Men type of novel, and the main character is a villain, so it adds that little twist on it. I really love being inside Nova's head. Usually when you're seeing superhero movies or reading about superheroes, it's always from the superhero themselves, and for this one we are learning about the anarchists instead of the renegades, and she has to go infiltrate the renegades to be able to take them down, and I love stories like that where an opposing person will go into the opposing tribe or institution, and they have to like figure out what's going on. I love that kind of book, and I loved this book. There was definitely some X-Men ripoffs. Marissa Mayer, I know where you got some of those characters from, okay? Like, we know. Not being very subtle about it, but at the same time I didn't care, because I really did love this book. I thought it was just wonderful, action-packed, fast. I can't wait for the sequel. This is a super neat world, and I love all the characters. I love them all, especially the little one. Next up is a bit of an indie book. I haven't really talked about it very much, although I did really, really love it, and that is The Disappearances by Emily Bain Murphy. This deals with two children in the 40s as they go back to the town that their mother grew up in, and it ends up that in this town, every 7 years, something disappears. And sometimes it is a smell, sometimes it's a place, sometimes it's a memory, and they're coming up on the 7th year again when something is going to disappear, and they're trying to figure out what has happened to this town and how to break the curse. It had very Maggie Stiefvater vibes, in my opinion, who's like the queen of magic realism, and I thought that it set during the 40s was a really neat aspect. I actually wish it kind of would have been more 40s-ish, like more to do with the war. You just kind of hear about it, but you don't really like see it very much, so I wish that had been a little bit more. I love the way that the main character is written as a teenage girl growing up in the 40s. The brother is just so wonderful. I really love the brother, and great friendship, family aspects in this, and then the whole disappearing thing, because I love when things have to deal with intangible things like wishes or promises, that kind of thing, which is why I love all my creepy fairy books. And this had that fairy-esque, creepy-esque vibe to it that I really, really enjoyed, and I hope that you guys will go check this out. Also, last year on my channel, I did do a favorite books of 2016, and then I also did a favorite sequels video of 2016. This time, I'm just gonna combine them all into one, because I really don't want to film two videos, to be honest. I'm very lazy, if the bangs did not tell you anything about that. So I want to talk about a sequel now, and that is the third in a series, and that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E.Schwab, which is the third of her Darker Shade of Magic Shades of London trilogy. I loved A Darker Shade of Magic. It's one of my favorite books. It's up there with Strange the Dreamer, and it's up there with Name of the Wind, and up there with like Cassandra Clare and everything like that. I loved it so much. It has to do with different dimensions and varying degrees of magic in each dimension. We were building up in Gathering of Shadows to something epic, and we get the epicness of this book. A lot of books are final battles, like a lot of third books are like, alright, there's gonna be a giant battle, some people are gonna die, some people are gonna live, the darkness overcomes, blah blah blah. And that is kind of what happened in here. We had a lot of darkness, and the darkness was great. I did really enjoy how she ended this series. I am also really happy that she's making more books in this world, because damn, I want more of this world. But I love the family aspects in this, especially with Reese and his parents, and then also Kel and Delilah. I freaking love Lila, first of all. She's just hilarious and she's so sassy, and I love her so much. She's a great, strong female character. And Kel really came into his own in this book, especially, and really learned like what family is. And it was just, it's a big book, but it did not disappoint. Let's break up all this fantasy stuff with the contemporary, shall we? Let's talk about History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This has to do with a boy named Griffin whose ex-boyfriend has just died, and so when he visits the funeral, he finds that his ex-boyfriend's new boyfriend is there also, and they kind of bond and they go over why they loved Theo in the first place and why he was so dear to them, and they go into maybe how he died and their own personal identities and emotions. I loved this book so much because there were so many things that could have happened that didn't, and I really, really liked that because it kept it from being predictable. There was a very messed up love relationship in this with both Theo and the new boyfriend whose name I can't remember, but I really liked that because you only see Theo from past perspectives, and of course they put rose-colored glasses on. It's kind of what you do to people that are no longer in your life. You put on that, like, oh, I remember all the good times, but you also have to remember the bad times, and that's what I liked so much about this, because as the book goes, you start to realize that maybe Theo wasn't that good of a person, and that is the piece of writing that I love so much. That's why I love this book, because it goes in a different direction than you're expecting it to, and it was a fantastic contemporary. I really loved all the nerdiness that was involved in this, and I love Adam Silvera now. Just this book made me an Adam Silvera fan. And then here's another third in a series that I absolutely loved. You know it had to be on here somewhere, because I'm gonna now talk about AModelWho'sRead by Sarah J. Maas. There's at least one Sarah J. Maas book on this list every single year. This is the only one this year. I did like Tower of Dawn, but not as much as AModelWho'sRead. Again, with the third book having the epic battle and the war and all of the killing and the people dying and all that stuff, I was like, alright, I think I know what's gonna happen in this. And I really didn't. Well, I kind of did. I kind of saw some stuff coming, but other stuff I did not see coming, and I really loved how Sarah J. Maas dealt with the final battle in the final book thing that an author's gotta do. I love all the new character relationships that are being built in this book. I really hope some of them are explored in her new novella series. I really loved the ending with the cauldron, although what's gonna happen with the cauldron? That sounds like something that's gonna happen eventually, that's gonna blow up in our faces. I loved exploring Rysand and Favor's relationship a little bit more, now that they're past the initial, like, we love each other, we're gonna be together forever, yay! Like, now it's like, we got war coming. This is do or die time, babe. I love how much it's set up, but still wrapped up, if that makes any sense. Alright, now I know that AModelWho'sRead was very bloody, like a lot of people died. We're gonna get something way gorier than that, and we're gonna talk about God's Grave by J. Kristoff. I currently do not have a copy of Nevernight because my friend's borrowing it. He's been borrowing it for like 6 months. What the hell, Andrew? Give me my book back. See, Nevernight was like Venetian-inspired killer fantasy novel. God's Grave is like a Roman-esque gladiator-inspired Italian fantasy novel. I know I've said this in other videos, but to sum up God's Grave in one sentence is that it got gayer and gorier, and I'm down for it. But it was so good because there's so much political intricacies and undermining people and like scheming, and oh, it was so well written, and that's what I absolutely love about J. Kristoff's anything, is that it's always so well mapped out that I really couldn't see any of this coming. This book took a while to read because it's so bloody. I know that this channel is mostly YA books. This is not a YA book, okay guys? If you're watching this and you are under, I'd say 17, even maybe like 18 or 19, do not read this, okay? I know some of you are gonna be like, I'm gonna read it anyway, you can't tell me what to do. You're gonna be traumatized. I was traumatized. I'm 22 years old. This was terrifying. And for a brand new fantasy series this year, the first two already came out, I'm only gonna mention the one, and that is Alchemist's Bloom by Elly. This is like futuristic steampunk fantasy with dragons. I really don't know what more I have to say about this to get you to read it, because it's dope. This is just a very original new series that has come out, and I really enjoy reading from all the different viewpoints, and the dragons, and the chimera, which are like dragon hybrids, and then the regular humans, and from all the different guilds around, and it's very steampunk, very Lord of the Rings meets steampunk meets dragon extra dragons. I don't really know how I'm trying to describe this. It's really tricky to write steampunk, and I think that Elise Kova nailed the steampunk genre, especially with this whole like fantasy dragon magical creatures. With the steampunk, I feel like that's kind of hard to pull off, and she damn well did it, and she did it in a fantastic way, in a super cool new world, and I really cannot wait for Rebels of Gold, because that comes out... Ooh, it might be out already. And then another book that I lent out to somebody and did not get back by the time that I finished filming this video is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Of course, it's on this list. Come on, it's on every single list ever. It's been on the bestseller list for like almost an entire year. I felt like as a white female, I cannot identify with this book as much as I know a lot of other people did or could, but I still really enjoyed this because it did point out things that I maybe thought of or had come to mind, but I never really thought about them in that way, and how those small cultural ideas or stereotypes really play into how you perceive people. And I loved Star as a main character. I thought that she was so well written. I love the family dynamic of this book. Damn, like we never get family dynamics, and we get a good family dynamic in this book. As someone that advocates for rights for any type of race or gender or person, let's just say, it was kind of frustrating to read this book because it just pulls up more of what is wrong with the world. That really sucks, but it's also great that this isn't such a mainstream novel, and I'm so happy for Angie Thomas. And last but certainly not least, y'all knew it had to be on here somewhere. I bet you were like, Rachel, you made an entire video without once mentioning Cassandra Clare. Something must be wrong with you. Oh no, it's not. I was waiting for the grand finale, and that is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. Again, another sequel that blew the first one out of the water. I adored Lord of Shadows. This was such a good book. There was so much that happened. We get so much creepy fairy jazz, which is exactly what I want, and I love the way that Cassandra Clare writes them. Love the relationship between Christina and Mark, and I love Livy. I love her storyline so much, and I want to know who the heck that white-haired fairy boy was at the very end. You know my theories on it, and I'm very, very excited to find out what's gonna happen to Queen of Air and Darkness. And then the only thing I'm really like not super established in, a fan of, invested in, maybe that's the right word. I know that like Emma and Julian are supposed to be the main people, like the main love interest, the main people we're following, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care about you. Get back to Mark and Kieran and Christina. So there you have it. There are my favorite books of 2017, and coincidentally, my last video of 2017. I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas and is going to have a Happy New Year's. Actually, I think this is going up on the 31st. So maybe you're watching this as you're getting ready for New Year's, or maybe you're not doing anything for New Year's and I am your New Year's entertainment. You're welcome. Here is to a new year with new books and less chronic pain and more, well, good school grades and a new beautiful ring light to give you all wonderful, fantastic, well-lit videos. Please leave down below if you have any New Year's resolutions or if there's any books you're really, really excited for 2018, because hot damn do I have a list. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week and next year. Bye!